Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
4 questions to begin with, so we're straight in there. No formal introduction or anything like that. So, quick 5 questions.
Yeah.
First one, what is your best business achievement so far?
Probably selling thousands of pairs of slippers in 2 minutes online last December, which will hopefully top next week with the coat drop. But yeah, probably that, I'd say.
Okay. What is your favourite brand to come out of Liverpool in the past 5 to 10 years?
I think you've got to give respect to Monterex where it's due in terms of, like, we know Danny and Kieran, boss lads, do you know what I mean? And what they've done and what they've built, the culture, they've built a monster of a business. So I don't really think you can look much further than that. But I love seeing brands coming out of the city. I think what the lads at Arne are doing is great as well. Just opened a new shop, was in there the other day. So yeah, it's a good space. I feel like Liverpool's such like a hub for brands, but obviously TheBlockP has got to be thrown into the conversation now as well.
You've got to mention it at some point.
Got to mention it, but yeah, I think Monterex is absolutely massive. Arne's great, but then you've got other little brands coming up as well, and it's just good to see. I'm all for it, so I'll always support local brands. I think it's really good.
We'll go into that as well, because I think it's a big part of your growth as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, favourite place in Liverpool to relax?
I'll probably say 36 Renshaw Street, which is our store. I say probably not much relaxing goes on in there, but I find comfort in the chaos. So even this morning, the Solar Reds have dropped. It's chocker. I just love being involved in it and in amongst it. Yeah, so probably there. I mean, we'll do a few meetings and stuff in the Hardware, which is a cafe next door. So shout out the Hardware. But yeah, probably the shop. I just love it. I don't really do much relaxing, to be honest. Or the gym. I relax in the gym. But yeah.
What gym do you go to?
I only go to the Pure Gym. It's on Renshaw Street. So
it's all nice
just,
and close.
All compact. I like my routine, so I'm in there every morning, shower, get the office, and just crack on. So yeah.
Last one. What's one thing that people don't know about you?
I'd say there's a lot of things people don't know about me. I'm not like out there. I'm not like a public figure or anything. But I think
let's think of maybe not quite a misconception, but what have you come across anything since you've been putting yourself out there lately? Have you come across anything where people have said, you know, oh, I thought you was like that, or I thought you'd be like this, and you're not?
I think people obviously will realise that I'm driven when they speak to me. The drive comes across, but I think they don't know why. Maybe I'd say, because I've been doing a lot of work on myself recently, and I think that drive probably comes from fear of wasted potential, fear of a future me looking back and thinking I could have done more. So yeah, I mean, people often look at it and think, wow, you must be killing it. You've got a shop, you've got investments, like you must be doing really well. But there was always that little younger version of myself who is just a scared little boy at the same time. So yeah, probably that. I'm driven, but you know, you don't really want to meet successful people and look up to them in that way because they've got their own things that they're dealing with as well. But yeah, probably that, I think.
Yeah, no, we'll break that down. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of business owners, probably male and female.
Yeah.
It all comes, generally a lot of things come from like the inner work that you either have or haven't done or are doing at that time. Could be upbringing, could be you know, what makes you driven. It could be experiences, positive and negative. There's so much stuff we can break down. But welcome to the podcast.
Thanks,
Sam.
big introduction.
Usually, I would introduce you, but I've realised when I've reviewed the last couple of episodes, I'm really, really fucking shit at it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Who you are, what you do, what you're known for. But I know there's plenty of laser skin that we're going to shed probably in terms of how you got here. So just give us an overview of who you are now for anyone that's listening and watching.
Yeah. So I'm Sam Byrne, 25-year-old investor and entrepreneur. I co-own TheBlockP with Charlie, my business partner. Yeah, and that's pretty much me at the minute. To be fair, just a normal lad who's trying to make something of himself and build a monster of a business and get better along the way and help change people's lives.
What does the word brand mean to you? So the reason why I asked that is sometimes it sounds a little left field, but obviously what we do is all around brand, whether it goes from brand to systems to tech and whatever it is, but it all starts with growing brands.
Yeah.
But a lot of the content we cover on these podcasts is generally about people. So what we try and do with this podcast is try and blend the two together. So how does branding work with people, and how does people work with branding? So we will get to know you as a person and what drives you and what your future goals are, maybe a little bit of history, but ultimately it's about brand, whether it's personal brand or the brand TheBlockP is a brand that you own. So what does it actually mean to you? Do you have a meaning for it?
I think when I think about a brand, it's a community. So it's got to stand for something and against something else. Now, if you look at this cap I'm wearing, why is someone going to want to buy that? What is it? What does it mean? What does it represent? And I think that's brand. It's working out like the history of it, the culture behind it. And yeah, that's brand to me. That's the way I see brand. I think it's really important though, because a brand it's people. It's the people that wear it. It's the founders that made it. And that stands for something. So I think it's identity. You see what people wear. It's a representation of who they are and what they believe in. And that kind of goes back to the 110 culture and the brand we're sort of trying to build now off the back of that. 110s are identity. They're a representation of being a Scouser and standing out and not conforming to the norm. And we're trying to leverage our brand off the back of that. Not stand on Nike's toes or anything like that, but build a brand that represents what that community means.
Yeah.
So that's what brand means to me.
That was a good answer. I reckon that's the best one we've had so far. Usually, honestly, people don't know what to say about it. That's the most interesting part, because we're surrounded by them. They're everywhere. We're wearing them. We have emotional attachments to them.
Yeah.
When you actually get asked, what does the word brand mean to you, you generally don't know.
It's hard. I mean, I can only say what it means to me through my lived experiences and what I witness every day, but we've had queues around the block for slippers. People have been queuing the night before to get them. One of our best customers was queuing outside at JD this morning, or from yesterday at 11 a.m. to get his hands on a pair of Solar Reds today. He's waited 24 hours to get his hands on those shoes. That's community. That's a brand. So, yeah, it's passion. It's meaning something. He's sacrificed a full day of his life to get that. We've had people who've waited in queues for slippers, for our own slippers, for coats, for caps, for bags. You can't put a price on that. People want it. It's for what it means and how it feels. So that's
where the culture comes in, isn't it? I think that's what Liverpool is crazy for, just the culture. And then when you drive into the Liverpool culture, there's so many different segments inside that then as well. I feel that's what you've done. Like if you look at your socials, the TheBlockP socials, it's Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's basically if anyone outside of Liverpool ever wants to see a summary of Liverpool, go to TheBlockP's Instagram, because it's just the humour is a big thing that I know has driven growth for you. The night thing. Talk about the night thing. That was.
Yeah, I mean, the night thing was crazy. So obviously I didn't found TheBlockP. Charlie, my business partner, founded it. Massive respect for Charlie. And if we talk about the culture, I basically, I'll give you the lowdown. I fractured my skull playing footy, woke up in hospital, bleeds on the brain, didn't really know where I was or what I was doing, and decided I was going to quit my job on the spot. I had a good job, safe job, it was all right. Didn't hate it.
What was that doing?
That at the time was continuous improvement in a factory. So kind of just making formulas that help reduce waste and stuff like that. So I did economics at uni, so I kind of had a financial background. And I fell into that because my mum rang me up. It was her business where she worked. She was like, I need you to come in and help me if you would. I was like, not really, but come on then, I'll do it. So quit the job, didn't want to be there anyway. And I gave myself 6 months to go and make something on my own. So I set up an Instagram page, buying and selling shoes. And I saw Charlie had opened up a shop in Liverpool at the same time. So I just went in, introduced myself. And yeah, we hit it off straight away. I think when you meet someone, you're on the same level. You just connect, don't you? Like even me and you today, I like from what you told me about you, I like you. Do you know what I mean? I think you're good. I like the way you're doing this podcast. You're meeting new people, networking and building a community. So it's really good. Hit it off. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just said to him, look, can I be involved in some way? But you've got to give. So I didn't want a wage. I didn't want short-term salary. So I said to him, can I work here for nothing if I can sell my shoes here? And he was like, yeah. And I'm speaking to my mum and my dad, and they're like, why are you leaving a good job to go and work for nothing in a shoe shop? Like, you've just got an economics degree. Is everything all right? You're right. You're okay. I was like, well, I just think I didn't want to do what I was doing. I wanted to be a part of something. I had a bit of money behind me from trading and investing in the stock market, so that wasn't an issue. But I wanted to build something. So I went in and I gave. Charlie didn't know the value that I could bring, but I did. So I bet on myself. And then it came to a point this year where I bought into the business, which is really really catapulted me personally and professionally and the business as well. So yeah, that's a bit of an overview waffle there. But the Nike CO thing, so one of the reasons I bought into the business was because I wanted to use it to build leverage as well. So we're looking to like pivot and build our own brand, which really excites me. And that is kind of the main reason I bought in.
What do you mean by brand, as in bringing your own product out?
Yeah. So we're kind of known for reselling Air Max 95s or 110s, but it's kind of like your bread and butter now. We could quite easily have a successful business doing that, but that doesn't keep us driven and motivated. So we want to build something. We want to do our own products like the caps, coats. We're bringing out bags, stuff like that, and potentially get into the clothing line because that's real leverage. That's community, and that's what we've brought.
That's your own IP then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because we can't control what Nike are making, but we can control what we're doing, and we can kind of make products that complement like the shoes, like this cap, for example, that can go with pretty much any pair of 110s. So yeah, it's just being smart about it. But the Nike CEO thing was mad, and it goes to like I decided I was going to post every day on LinkedIn for 90 days. I think I'm probably around 90 days now, and it's grown. I think so. Yeah, I mean it's grown from 0 to nearly 10k now, like 9.8k or something. And people are looking at it and go, wow, like that's sick. Like you got lucky, like. But it's the consistency of doing it every day.
LinkedIn's hard.
LinkedIn is tricky
because it's all long form content as well.
Yeah, and you've got to have people who are like going to read your
the energy, and being young as well. It's generally not a space for young people.
Yeah,
and everything's long form. The energy that goes into creating content on LinkedIn is ridiculous.
It's hard work, but I think I'm not one for staying on the surface. I never wanted to be like an Instagram. Look at me, look at me nice car, look at me nice watch.
Surface level stuff.
Yeah, I just think that's empty. That's not me. I'm quite a deep person. So I feel things like quite deeply, and I overthink as well. So I always want to build depth, and LinkedIn's a good platform to do that. But I just said to myself I was going to post every day, and I have. And now it's doing okay. And it's like the things I'm getting off the back of it are really good. Yeah. Because I never wanted to put myself out there. I don't know why. And then kind of like buying into the business, I thought it's costing me a good chunk of money to do this. I feel like it could benefit me and the business doing this, and it has, and it will continue to do so. Yeah. So, yeah. But
it's just laying them foundations then, isn't it? So, so TheBlockP is the foundation for yourself and Charlie. Yeah. To do bigger things.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because the brand we want to build is going to be massive. Like in our heads, we're deluded because the way we see the brand and how the brand is now are completely different because we see it, how it's going to be in 5-10 years when it's all over the world.
That's why entrepreneurs are not social people.
Yeah.
Because you have so many things running through your head and so many visions and different priorities because you're thinking so far ahead. That's what I've noticed with a lot of entrepreneurs. I hate the word entrepreneur as well, it doesn't mean anything, but it's what it is, isn't it? I think when you meet a genuine entrepreneur, you feel it straight away. It's like an energy. And you're on the same page, because when you are an entrepreneur yourself and you meet someone that isn't, there's a disconnect because you just think differently. You're thinking further ahead. You don't think very short term. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, because sometimes you have got to just work on the building blocks, which is short term. But I feel like there is an energy between like genuine entrepreneurs. And that seems like, obviously I've not met Charlie, but it seems like from the brief overview you just give us of how you got here today, it's serial entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think it's tricky. It can be hard because in the work I'm doing on myself now, I'm trying to find presence more because the schedule's busy. New coat out next week, China the week after. There's a lot going on. Black Friday, all this stuff, new website, other things going on. And as an entrepreneur, you always like push for the next thing. And it's hard to actually give yourself credit for how far you've come. Yeah. And that's why I try and do that when I journal and meditate in the mornings. I try and give myself credit for how far I've come, because you've only got here and now, you've only got today. And I think it's so easy to think about the big goals and the £100 million business you want and whatever, but really you are exactly where you're meant to be in your life. And I genuinely believe that I'm meant to be here today. I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing, and that'll lay the foundation for what's to come, but it's not to belittle what's here now.
But that's it, isn't it? It takes a lot of deep work to have that outlook on life, though. Yeah. That's like you mentioned before that you'd watched Scano's episode, which is our first episode. That's something that I got from him, like, deeply. And it was just being okay with what's happening right now.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I took from his episode was the heroin addiction. That like,
okay,
that resonated with me quite a bit. I've grown up around addiction.
Let's get into it then.
Yeah.
Because you've just basically given everyone a trailer of everything that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's look at Sam as a young kid.
Yeah.
So where you grew up, what was the makeup of your life? What did it look like? What happened in your life, both good, bad, the ugly, everything in between, that has made Sam the person he is now?
Oh, it's a very good question. I mean, I'll take it right back to the day I was born, to be honest. So I was
Do you
born.
remember that?
Yeah, I remember coming out. So I was born in 2000 and I was born premature. So obviously technology isn't what it is today. I was born at 26 weeks. So really small, weighed 2 pounds when I was born. Yeah, probably shouldn't even be here today. They gave me a 10% chance of survival. Should have been deaf, blind, not be able to speak, walk. And I didn't really know anything about that. There's no pictures of me as a baby because my mum and dad didn't want to build that relationship with me until they knew I was going to be here. So it wasn't until I turned 18 that I got more of an understanding of what that was like for the whole family. And yeah, I'm just grateful. It kind of gives me that gratitude that anything I do today is massive because all the other little babies who were in that premature ward were dying around me, and for some reason I survived. So it's that greater purpose. It makes me want to give back and kind of build something. I don't just want to settle and be comfortable because I'm here. Those other babies aren't here. A lot of premature babies aren't here. So why me? If that makes sense. And I mean, I was very fortunate growing up. I had a lot of love and support, but the only real thing that shaped my character is probably the addiction side of things. So I grew up in an alcoholic household. Which not many people know about me. It's not really much I've not really spoken that much about it. Those closest to me know. But that definitely had a massive impact on me.
What kind of age range are we looking at now? So if you can sort of staple that to a period in your life,
yeah.
What are we looking at? Are we looking at like certain time in school, certain age?
It's to be honest, most of what I can remember, maybe 9 till the present day. Yeah, there's certainly times where it's been harder than others, but I think a lot of that pain that was pushed onto me, I absorbed, and it wasn't my pain. I just kind of internalized it, and I noticed that I had very similar characteristics. Like I've got quite an addictive personality myself, and I resented that. But
what do you mean by you resent it? You resented it in yourself, or you resented that you was...
I resented the alcoholic for drinking.
Yeah.
And I internalized that by my coping mechanism, which was smoking weed every day. So there was a moment where I came back high as a kite and seeing the alcoholic having a drink, and I thought, well, do you know what? I'm just doing the exact same thing here. And I had half a drink to just throw it on the floor, stamped it out, and I thought, I'm done now.
How old was you at this time?
23.
So that wasn't that long ago.
That wasn't that long
A couple
ago.
of years ago.
So I probably, from about 16, 17 to 23, just kind of lost, not really knowing what's going on.
Just going through life day by day, just...
Yeah, I mean, I always had drive. I was always felt like I was a bit different because I think growing up, you don't know it's a secret. You don't know that it's not normal. Going home and not knowing what's going to await you, and then having to hide it from the other parent who doesn't drink, who doesn't know. And yeah, it was tricky, but it's definitely shaped me into who I am, and I definitely wouldn't change it. I mean, I'd get on.
Parents separated?
No. But again, there was times where that was, and the kind of like...
What about your wider family then? What role do you think they played in that whole period?
I've always been so close to my grandparents. I'm lucky I've had all 4 of them most of my life. I've lost 3 of them recently. But yeah, I always felt loved, but I felt like there was times where I wasn't enough. You know, it was always that you get 90% in a test in school. Well, what did you get wrong? Yeah. That kind of insecurity was being pushed onto me, and I internalized it. When actually I did the work on myself, I realized it was nothing to do with me. And it's that control the controllables. I can't focus on anyone else or what anyone else is doing, but I can control myself. So I will control myself, and I'll do what I want to do, and I'll carve my own path. But I never dealt well with authority. just didn't like being told what to do, didn't respect the people who had authority over me. And that probably has led to me starting businesses and want to give back. I've had mentorship that have helped me with dealing with the addiction and the family side of it, and that's been massive. And now I'll mentor other younger people who...
Have you been through any sort of therapy or anything, or has mentorship been that for you?
I mean, when I changed schools, so when we went from primary to secondary, that's kind of when I started clocking that my home life wasn't that normal. And I had counselling and stuff for it then, but I didn't really realise the impact it was having. But that massively helped me in terms of dealing with things.
Positive or negative impact?
Positive. Like, the counselling gave me a positive impact, but I didn't realise how much I'd internalised things and that I actually wasn't okay, if you know what I mean. And I needed to do work on myself. And then, obviously, when you start going out and stuff and you get into that age and drink and drugs become involved, like, I wasn't present in myself. I used to have to get, like, majorly, like, waves so I didn't have to think about it. And, yeah, now I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything because I live by the mantra now. If it's going to make me 1% worse tomorrow, I won't do it. And I think a lot of people look at me and go, oh, you're disciplined, but they don't understand why. And I can take it the other way. Like, I won't have a casual drink with my mates. I won't go and, like, smoke a joint or smoke a ciggy or have a vape or even drink coffee. Like, I'm so, like, anal about it, which can be good, but it can be bad as well. And I think...
Do you see yourself in the future? Obviously, I mean, you're 25 now. You mentioned that moment of having enough, throwing the joint on the floor and going, no, I'm not doing it. It was only, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So you're very early on in your journey, but do you see yourself loosening the strings a little bit in the future and bringing more lifestyle in, or do you see it, this is the way you need to be?
It's an interesting question because I'll go back to what I said before, all you have today. So it's like...
You've not thought about it?
I've not. I mean, I know that I won't, like, have a drink today, or I won't go and drink today because that's where I am in my life. I don't know about the future. Yeah.
That's interesting because, so the reason why I asked you that question is selfishly for me, really. I'm on a similar journey in a way of just looking internally a little bit deeper than maybe what I have before. All for different reasons to yourself, but albeit it's still a journey. And that the mistake I made at the start was trying to think too far ahead, but it's always something I've always done because that's what you do in business. Been in business my whole adult life. So the way you build and run a business and build, I guess, like you said before, like carving a roadmap for a business for everyone else to follow when you've got a team, is you need to be one step ahead all the time. And then I realized that doesn't apply in life. It's different in life. And you start getting, you're moving forward and you're doing well in the certain areas what you want to do. In your case, it was maybe stopping drinking, stopping smoking weed, actually using your knowledge and your intelligence to do something bigger. It sounds like it was yours, but you can only do that now. If you start thinking too far ahead, you essentially just stop yourself from doing anything. Sort of like in branding, when we talk about your messaging, and you can either speak to somebody or nobody, and when you try and speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. That's essentially what you're trying to do. You're trying to deal with too many things at once, trying to think too far ahead when actually you've not dealt with the way it works right now. That's the mistake I made, but it sounds like you've got that right. I don't know if it's been like that from the start for you, whether you realised that early on. I didn't. How has that played into your journey? And have you always known that you can't think too far ahead, or have you had to learn that?
No, I'm a chronic overthinker, me. I'll spiral. Oh, I'm so bad for it. That's why I tried to give you that answer, because I'm doing the work. Yeah. So I think often the things that propel you forward in business hold you back in life. I do genuinely believe that, like, you know, planning to go and do all these things and, yeah, the difficult conversations with people, it can hold you back in life, because the fixed, like, exponential gains I've had in business have come from obsessive behavior.
I've always said this. And
sweating the small stuff and being obsessed and tunneling in. Yeah, like, I'm not going out to drink on a Friday night because I'm working. I'm not going out, I'm working. And even I'd smoke a joint, I'd still do work. I'd still just nail it. It just means, like, I could just lose myself and do a bit more work. So, yeah. I think most people get it confused because they want one thing and not the other. And you can't have one without the other, if you know what I mean. Most people are jealous of people with loads of money, But like, I'll ask you now, would you want to swap places with Elon Musk? Because I would not want to spend 5 minutes inside his mind.
No.
I
think there's a generational piece that works into that as well. I think you might even be a bit of an outlier in that generation, but it's probably, I mean, you're not much younger than me, but I think the generation that you're in, you maybe at the back end of it, but it's because of the likes of TikTok and all these things, and that's why I hate the word entrepreneur, because there's no criteria. If you want to call yourself an entrepreneur, you can call yourself an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you can show the surface level stuff like you mentioned before on Instagram and stuff, and you're an entrepreneur all of a sudden.
Self-proclaimed.
It makes things seem really accessible, which when it comes to like deeper inner work, like what we talked about when we'll go on to like meditation, all these things, making that look accessible online to this generation, to the younger generation, is great. But when you make money and success seem so accessible, it's great in a way that it's making people think further ahead and making people know that they can achieve good things. You can never take that away from someone. But it's not showing the work side of it, what you've actually got to do to get there, because, again, it's surface level. It's showing the outcome of all the work without showing the work. And that is literally, again, the reason when Jay introduced you to me, that's the reason why I wanted to get you on. We had that first conversation, because the whole point of this podcast is to show what's going on right now. Not to show somebody who has been in business for 60 years and is now a multi-billionaire and they're going to give you a 5-step process to become a billionaire. That's not what this is about. It's about, I'm dealing with this stuff right now, personally, business, and this is how it's working for me, the good and the bad. I want to see more of that online. I do want to still see the outcome and the luxuries of life and what you can achieve in life. I still want young people to see that. But there needs to be a piece before it where it's like, you can go and you can have that, but you've got to do this first. You've got to do this section, which is the hard work. And so many young people don't have it in them to put in the graft.
Yeah, people think they're entitled to things. And one thing that gets me through it is you can't control the output, but you can control the input. So double down on the input, focus on the input. You say to yourself, you're going to go to the gym, and you don't go. What are you doing? You're letting yourself down. You're breaking the promises you're keeping to yourself. Say you're going to get up at 6, you snooze your alarm. What are you doing? It's half pathetic, I reckon. I mean, that's probably bad to say, but I just think if you had a mate who just continually let you down, you wouldn't be the mate anymore, but you do it with yourself. So what are you playing on?
No, it's good. I think what's important, though, on that is that there's steps that you've got to take to be in that mindset. Like you seem very settled in that you will do what you need to do. That's not that common.
Yeah, that's probably true. But I think for me, it never was that common. So I think because I've done the work on myself and I've gone through the levels to get to where I'm at now, personally, that's kind of where I'm at. I probably don't I don't hold space for a former version of myself because it's uncomfortable to sit with how I used to be, because I wasn't happy in myself. I wasn't satisfied. I didn't have a life that I liked. And even now, like, I'm very fortunate that I can create the life that I want, but I genuinely believe anyone can. Yeah. They've just got to do a bit of uncomfortable work. And I think most people are seeking that external validation when really it's got to come from within. I think a lot of people think they want money. They don't. They just want freedom of time. They want wealth, which is having money that earns while you sleep, so they can choose how they live their life. And I was never going to have my life lived for me. I was never going to allow other people to make decisions that were going to say, all right, I'll go into investment banking, I'll do this, like I'll be an accountant. No, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I think I'm lucky to be that way, but it's because of the other side of the coin, probably the adversity I've faced has made me like that.
Yeah. I've always said there's something to be said about experiencing both sides of the coin, as you just said, because when you experience the good times, it makes the good times good or better, because you've experienced the bad times, you know what it's like to be on the other side. There's nothing to say that if you've not been through adversity and you've had a really safe childhood and not much trauma, doesn't mean that you're at a disadvantage, because the inner work that you can do that we're talking about will replace that. It'll replace the trauma that you might not have had. Should propel
you further.
Yeah,
if anything.
But there's such a good message in there what you said, and I've experienced that myself when you said about there's certain traits in you as a business owner that might not be ideal. They might not serve you for your whole life, but for now, you've just got to get it done. There was a couple of years ago, Liam will back me on this story as well. You can't see me, but you can hear me. I had a call with we'll call him a therapist. He wasn't a therapist, he was like mental performance, and I'm very self-aware, so I was already aware of all the shit traits that I had, all the routines and just the things that I was doing in my life at that time. And this person, and it would be known in society that you need to change that. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Going to bed too late, working through the night, bad work-life balance, probably not looking after myself nutritionally, not drinking water, all these little things, not being active enough. And yes, don't get me wrong, not all of them can be attributed to that's what I need to do at that time. Some of them, like, you can drink water while you're at your desk, like you can move more. There were some things that I was self-inflicted, but the majority of the things that this person wanted to change in me, I needed at that time. I needed to work every hour I needed to, because stuff had to be done, and I was so inspired at the times when I needed to use it. Work-life balance wasn't great, but you come to realise that work-life balance is never great. It's always push and pull when you're running a business. So I didn't want to fix those things at that time in my life because I needed them. They were almost like my superpowers. Yes, society would tell you that it's not good for you, and you need to be this perfect example of work-life balance, and you need to be able to have your downtime and all this stuff, and you do. But you go through phases in your life where you've got to prioritise different things, and at that time I was prioritising every waking minute of the day was to execute the ideas that I had to get to where you wanted to be. So I think it's an important message for any business owners that are listening and watching. If you are in a stage in business, you're growing a brand, maybe you just started, maybe you're at like a real transition period, or you're at a difficult time in business, and you're not feeling like you are the optimal business owner, I would argue that you're never going to feel like the optimal business owner.
Yeah,
there's always going to be things that you need to push and pull on to get things done at that time.
I certainly feel like that. And I think when you speak about a work-life balance, that is such a tricky one, because for me, it's like, well, why would I want balance? Why wouldn't I just want to do all of what I want to do 100% of the time, which is working? But I think you do have seasons. I'm in a season now of extreme work. I'm absolutely, even coming in now, I'm knackered. I'm shattered. Like, I'm so tired. But that, I have to kind of remind myself, this is what I wanted 5 years ago. This is the life that I promised myself I would have, and now I'm having it, or I'm on the start of the curve to get there, and you just take it for granted. Like, I would have loved to have these conversations years ago, and this book launch event I'm going to tonight, a public speaking I'm doing next week, like, these are things that I would have killed to do. Coat launch, going to China next week in Hong Kong, that's just taken for granted, because it just becomes another thing you've got to tick off your to-do list.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to decide and dictate your life in the way you want it. So people might say work-life balance. Well, in that is, your work should look like work to other people, but feel like play to you. Yeah. Like, I love what I do. So most people might see it as work, but I genuinely enjoy it, and I wouldn't want to change it. Yeah. Otherwise, I just go and do what I wanted to do anyway. So
I think a lot of it, from my experience, comes from guilt and anxiety, probably. I think, like, you can, if you just isolate for a simple example of being on holiday, I found in my experience, I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty confident that most business owners feel like this. You want downtime because you're tired, you're completely burnt out, or you're bored. They can feel the same sometimes, which I've come to learn as well. And it all starts from guilt. So you're on holiday, you're chilling, you've earned the right to chill. But if you're anything like me, as an example, I would never want anybody to do something that I'm not doing myself. So the thought of people working in the office while I'm in Spain or like on a holiday somewhere cripples me. So I'm like, I want to be there with them because they're doing it, and I don't want to see that I'm on holiday chilling and they're having to work. Like, and you just overthink really bad. So where I got to with work-life balance was understanding that it wasn't an on and off switch. It was just finding out what your sort of average was, what your middle ground was. So it's not I'm working or I'm not working. It's I'm in the office, I'm all full steam ahead. I'm essentially pushing, as I said before, about pushing and pulling. I'm pushing, I'm going for it. And then what does my pull look like? When I take a step back, what does that look like for me? And I always thought it had to be switch off. It had to be at home, no laptop, no WhatsApp, no social media, nothing. But realistically, what it was is little and often. That's what I found my pull to be. My pull is little and often. It's going from sitting on my laptop all day to maybe jumping on for an hour in the morning, make sure the team are all right, speaking to Liam, making sure you don't need anything from me, making sure that nobody's waiting on comms from me. Anxiety immediately gone. I can enjoy it. So I think that's another big pressure. But again, you go through seasons, like you said. Sometimes you there's a YouTuber actually that I watch quite heavily. a big business owner, and he has a saying, and I'm not sure if I agree with it. I like to get your thought on it. He has a saying where he says, "You have to do what you have to do to be able to do what you've got to be." No, I've fucked that up. Let me try again. Right? He says, you've got to do what you've got to do to be able to do what you want to do. So essentially, sometimes you've got to do stuff that you don't want to do because it affords you then to be able to do what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
And I've always been 50-50 in my mind. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but for me, I'm just like, do we agree with that or not? Like, am I doing things, do I want to be okay with doing things that I don't want to do just so I can do things that I do want to do? Or is that a good balance? I literally change my mind on it every day.
Yeah. I'd say I've probably got a similar view to you. Yeah, but no, it depends. Because I don't like doing things I don't want to do, but at the same time, it's going to push me forward and grow the business. I'll do it. Like, I don't want to sit there and pack orders, but every Sunday I pack the orders because I want to know how the orders are getting sent out. So it's that obsessive attention to the detail. So yeah, but it's tricky because it's the other side of the coin, isn't it?
There's no, at the end of the day, there's no blueprint, is there?
No.
There's so much content out there from some really inspirational people of how to build a business, how to run a business, how to be more optimal, how to sell more, all these things. But in reality, there isn't a blueprint. So you've got to find your own way of doing things. Yeah.
I kind of live my life now by this kind of mantra that I heard Chris Williamson say, and there's no solutions, only trade-offs. So everything has a cost. So the fact that I'm here now means I can't do absolutely everything else because I'm here now and having this conversation. It's like, I go to the gym this morning, that means I can't go on my laptop or do whatever I need to do because I'm choosing in that moment to do that. And I think once you realise that, it's powerful because you don't beat yourself up. Like, speaking on guilt, that's something I've been trying to work on because I rarely rest and it has a massive impact on me. It burns me out.
Physically or mentally or both?
Both, probably more than I'd care to admit. But I just keep pushing. It's like, who's going to carry the boat? It's like me forever. I'm always there. And we ran a half marathon, me and a few lads from the shop in the TheBlockP slippers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, last Sunday. I don't even know when it was now. But yeah, we ran him. And I got home, I was knackered. I'd never run more than like a 5 or a 10K before, so I was shattered. I'm sitting lying in bed trying to get to sleep. And I just had these like thoughts in my mind, like, what are you doing? Like, you've got work to do. So I couldn't get to sleep and I'm tossing and turning over, thinking. I get my laptop out and I'm like answering emails or like looking at the brand deck, we're rebranding at the minute, so going through that, or the website changes we're doing. I'm thinking, what am I doing?
But that's the season that you're in, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's that you always feel that guilt.
Yeah.
And like, even today, being here in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, God, I've got so much I need to do. And it's like, I enjoy these conversations. These are what I live for. It's amazing. But there's always that like voice in your head saying like, come on, like, what are you doing? Like, you're not good enough. You need to push forward. You need to drive. And I hope I lose that because I hope
do you actually want to lose it though? You said earlier on that a lot of the drive that you've got is from a fear of maybe being average, not achieving what you know you can achieve. So if I had the power to take that away from you right now, where do you think that would leave you?
I wouldn't want that because it's who I am. But I like to learn to live with it in a better way.
Be okay with it.
Maybe I think because you always create these goals or targets in your head of like, I want to make £1 million this year. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's all bollocks at the end of the day because you'll just push the goalpost back. So if you're not happy with where you are and what you're doing, you'll never get there. I think if you're not happy in your life now, even if you're on a beach with £100 million, you're still going to be miserable.
That's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
You're never finished.
It's true. And it's like,
but just start something new.
Yeah. But then it's what you want to start. I think why I've come into TheBlockP now and the respect I've got for Charlie stems from the fact he's built a community around his passion and he's led a culture in the city. And I think that's so special. And the fact I can be a part of that is amazing. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for that. But I've added so much value in a way where it makes sense to me to do that. So, yeah, my background was more finance and investing. I've still got investments in the stock market and I love that. I love the idea of investing. And I probably will take equity in more companies, buy in and maybe start more things, but I'm a while off that because I think there's an old Chinese proverb, which is, I'm probably going to butcher this, but the hunter who chases 2 hares catches none. You got to pick one thing and go all in on it.
Focus,
Yeah, and that's so. I've for years tried so many things, Amazon FBA or whatever it might be, and tried them, failed because I've not given it everything. I've been trying to spin too many plates, and it's never worked. Yeah. And now I've kind of forgotten about everything else, focused all in on TheBlockP, and we're growing a business.
Yeah, you're starting to see
Yeah.
benefits of it now.
And it's weird because you focus on your business. I'm getting personally better as well.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But yeah, it's even the LinkedIn thing and the Nike CEO thing. That's been crazy. I know we touched on it
Let's
before,
look at that now then. So I think if we look at current day, there's a couple of different arms to the SAM tree, we'll call it.
Yeah.
You've got obviously TheBlockP, which you invested in and became a co-owner of this year. You've got your other, I guess, background stuff like investments and different things like that. You've got personal brand, which has been fairly new for you as well, isn't it? And in terms of just putting yourself out there, and it's how I'm sure Jay's been aware of you for a while, is aware of TheBlockP, but not you personally. Jay is then, just for anyone wondering, Jay has then messaged me and said you should really get him on the podcast. We spoke and then we hit it off, and that was great. But without that activity that you did on LinkedIn, maybe Jay wouldn't have been urged to reach out or speak to you, and then he wouldn't have passed. So we all have these little roadmaps, don't we? So if we look at you right now and your focus, you talked about focus and being focused on one thing or maybe a couple of things. What does it look like for you? What are you trying to achieve right now? And what are there any key things maybe in recent times, couple of weeks, couple of months, that have really brought you to this point today?
I've used entrepreneurship and starting business and investing to become a better version of myself. I've used it as a vessel so I can perform better. And right now, my focus is TheBlockP, really. I think when you put like a good chunk of money into something, you believe in it and you back it, and I worked there for 2 years without owning the company, and now I own equity in the company, and it's like, that for me has to be my priority, and it will, and I love doing it. And I think the way me and Charlie are, we work well together. We're similar, but we're different as well. Like it's a mad, like I love him to bits, but we're people always come in the shop and like, are you two brothers? Like, because we look quite similar apparently. It just makes me laugh. But where we want to take the business, there's no time for me to be doing other things. The personal brand thing's great, and it's more of like, it's a joy, and I really do enjoy that.
It's a byproduct though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's essentially
a byproduct
coming off
of
the
it.
stuff you're doing every day anyway.
Yeah, like if I wasn't investing, if I didn't have TheBlockP, then I wouldn't.
Would you have
really
anything to speak about?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think personal brands have to be like that anyway, because I think there's a big drive for personal brand at the minute. The majority of stuff you see, especially on LinkedIn, is completely over-engineered.
Yeah.
It's people trying to create a personal brand for the sake of creating a personal brand when they don't really have anything to say. They don't really have a great deal of knowledge in anything in particular, not much experience. Well, essentially all you're doing by personal brand is, it's not like you've just created a logo for Sam and gone, I'm now a personal brand. You've just been talking about what you think and what's in your mind and your experiences of business, and that's landed you opportunities.
It's kind of like, I write a post every morning, and that's almost like a form of meditation. It's almost like, well, what's on my mind today? All right, okay, probably this problem we've got to deal with in the business, or, oh, I read this last night, maybe that's on my mind. So when I'm journaling in the morning, then I'll write a post off the back of it.
Yeah.
So it really helps. I didn't want my personal brand to be like, oh, TheBlockP, look at me, look at what we're doing. I just kind of wanted to put myself out there to attract the right types of people, because for me, like, relationships are so important. And I've always been quite closed off because I've been in my own head quite a lot growing up. So I never actually put myself out there, and then it held me back because I wanted deep connection with people, because I wasn't being vulnerable and opening up about my experiences. It never.
So would you say that you've never really put yourself out there because you were almost scared of someone like exposing you and saying, well, you used to be like this, or you used to do this, or I've seen you do this, maybe people from your upbringing or whatever, and you maybe you felt almost like not a fraud, it's a strong word, but like that's a big feeling.
Imposter syndrome.
When you put yourself out there.
Yeah, I think so.
Half of it's made up.
Yeah,
in your own mind.
I know half of it is just the thoughts that go around your head that you overthink anyway. But I just thought I would probably be doing myself a disservice if I wasn't posting about it, because I looked on my Instagram and I had one post of me at a festival like 7 years ago. And I was like, well, I don't take pictures of myself. I haven't documented my life. So worst case, I can just post on LinkedIn and I'll have a reflection of what I've done this year. And that'll be cool, because I can look back at it and go, on this day, last year, I was thinking about this, or I was addressing this problem. I've grown, or I haven't grown, or I'm thinking about it again. So this must be a recurring issue that I need to go and do some work on. So yeah, I never wanted it to be like fake, like, oh, like we've just done this amount of revenue and we're doing this, and because that's bullshit.
That's
like
the
that comes and goes.
piece that you mentioned, isn't it?
100%. I want it to be internally I'm struggling with this. I'm thinking about this. And the connections I've had off the back of it have been crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely mad. Like, we've got a couple of things in the works off the back of it, which will just be crazy. And
what's coming up next, do you think? What are you mentioned about, obviously you got a trip to China and
yeah.
you're looking at your own BlockP product as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's the idea there?
So we want to build a brand that leverages what 110s stand for, that community side of things.
What would you say it is? What does it stand for when you say that?
Like, identity for the streets, that graft culture of carving your own path and not doing what you're told, basically, like, F the man, that kind of stuff, you know. But that is massive for us. Like, there's a lot of internal debate now about how and where we want to take the brand and what types of products we want to launch and how we're going to bring them to life. And I'm really excited by that. And because we don't know, there's no right or wrong thing. No one's really, we've kind of done it the other way around, if you like. We've built a community and are now trying to build a brand off the back of that.
Yeah.
But we're
so
trying
you built
to
a
pivot.
community essentially on a culture around 110s in this case. And now you want to leverage that, the foundations that you've built, to just extend the culture.
We want to build something of our own.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't our own. We want to give the community something else that's a representation of us and the impact we've had on it. So a lot of people as well, like, there's so many, like, people think we make loads of money from the shoes and we charge high prices and stuff, and it's actually mad because we have a conscious effort to charge as low as we possibly can to give value to the customer. But people can come in and look at neons that are 400 quid and go, well, I can just go and buy them in JD. It's like, well, go and buy them in JD when they came out 7 years ago. Like, you can't get them. So people will think we have massive margins on the shoes when in reality we don't. Like, half the time we'll break even just to get people through the door, so they'll buy a BlockP cap or whatever it might be. And
what would you say, if you could summarize it, what would you say the business model of BlockP is? It's a really difficult question because it's sort of how long's a piece of string, but if you could pinpoint a model, what is it?
There's so many ways we could take it. Right now, we're going through a corporate restructure. So kind of similar to what you were discussing off camera before about the holding company and stuff like that. That's kind of where we're going at, because we've got two avenues to the business. We've got the reselling of 110s, which is on a margin scheme and is the secondary goods. And then we've got the manufacturing of our own products, which is our own. It's two different VAT schemes. So we're looking to set up a proper corporate structure and have that in place. And then if me and Charlie want to invest in other things or buy other things, we can, because it all is under one entity. But model is tricky. It's a tricky question. I mean, the core of what our business is I will buy this and sell it on for more. That's like your reselling. That for me is basic entrepreneurship in its core principles. I've always done that, even from selling sweets as a kid in school or going around the market stalls when I was younger. Like, I've always been a hustler, and so has Charlie, and that's why we get on. But yeah, pinpointing a model is probably tricky.
Maybe that's down to the phase of business you're in, though.
Yeah, because we are rebranding.
Before, you're in a bit of a transition, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it sounds like to me that the business is maturing. It's growing up a little bit. It's going from probably what got you the awareness in the first place, and it'll always be running through the veins of the business, the 110s, and how you get people in through the door. But like you mentioned before, by the business growing up and growing arms and legs, it means that you can build your own IP. Maybe Charlie might want to step out. I know he mentioned he doesn't really step outside into the public much. He doesn't put himself out there too much. Maybe he might decide to do that in the future. There's another arm of leverage as well. But it sounds like the business is maturing and you're turning into something that is not more unique, because it isn't a unique company. There's nothing else like it. But it's based on your own product. And like you said, it's sort of the other way around, isn't it? A lot of people start by bringing their own product. Maybe that's a hard way to do it. Maybe it's an easier way to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's gone pretty well so far.
Do you know what, though? It's like, externally, it looks like it isn't. It is, like, I love it, but because I'm behind the scenes and I can see the potential of it, like, we're only just getting started.
I guess anyone on the outside sees BlockP right now as the finished article, don't they? That's the difficult part about being the business owner, because you never see the finished article. Even when technically it is the finished article, it fits the criteria of what you've always wanted it to be, it's still never the finished article. Yeah. Everyone else on the outside sees it as the finished article.
I've read something about Henry Ford the other day, and it was like they were launching a new car and he came into the marketing team and said, when every day for 4 months he'd seen the same campaign going. He was like, when are we stopping that? And they were like, well, we haven't even brought it to market yet. Because he sees it every day, he was sick of it already.
Yeah.
And he'd already got sick of it and hadn't even been out there. So it's like we're seeing products that we're launching in a year or 18 months or whatever we're doing. So that like when people see them for the first time, they're like, oh, but I'm already sick of it. I'm already on to the next one. Yeah, so it's
I think
hard.
that'll probably, I imagine that'll become more apparent as well when you bring out your own product.
Yeah.
Then if you're going to do, you might do drops, you might do lines or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You're going to be working on the next one before the one before is even launched probably.
Yeah.
If you decide to go down.
I think that's a theme. Danny, who owned Montrex, said something similar with that. He was like, I'm just so excited to bring the new products out because that's what they're working on. That's, as a business owner, like that's your passion. That's what's pushing you forward, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's what's driving you. Yeah. And exciting stuff.
We're coming to the end now. I think we got through so much, honestly. And I just want to make sure that people consume the other content that you put out there because there's so much value in, especially the LinkedIn post that you're posting. But there's 2 questions I want to ask you. One of them is personally for me, because it's something that I've been mulling over recently, and the next one is just the closing question that we always ask. So firstly, what role and differences do you see between, in business in particular, motivation and discipline? If I say to you, what role does motivation play in your life and what role does discipline play in your life, what comes to mind?
I think discipline is doing the mundane stuff that you don't want to do necessarily every day, but you do it because you know the benefit it brings you. Whereas motivation is fleeting. There's moments where you feel motivated and you can channel that and be really passionate and dive into something. Like if motivation hits me, I will do work or I will do what I'm motivated about to do it in that moment, because motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what gives you the habits to build something special. So I would say I'm far more disciplined than I am motivated. I rarely get motivated, but when I do, I try and capitalize on it. But I am disciplined a lot of the time, probably from that inner voice that's saying, come on, like you need to do it now. You've got to do something, you've got to build something. Like, who are you? Like, I don't know, I'll always have that. Like, who am I? I'm just a normal lad who's trying to build something and trying to become a better version of himself. And by doing the small daily habits that I have, that makes me a better version of myself. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, I'll wake up at 5:30 every morning. I'll do affirmations. I'll do Wim Hof breath work because that just interests me. I'll read a book. I'll do a little ab workout. And I'll do an hour and a half of focus work. I'll have a cold shower. And then it's like, I'll leave the house at 8 a.m. And I've had like 7 different wins that I've backed up while other people are just waking up, snoozing their alarm. I'm winning. Do you know what I mean? I've already done so many things that are going to benefit me throughout the day. And when you said there about you're a night owl, like that's the opposite side to me. I couldn't do that. I'm in bed by like 9, 10 o'clock every night, but I like being up early. It's that competitive advantage. But I suppose that is discipline. But I never used to wake up early. I always used to, just wake up normal time, kind of coast through the day a bit. But now I've got that morning routine. It helps me massively, but I don't want to be fixated on it. Because, like when we go to China and stuff, I feel like you've got to be adaptable. I don't want to be one of them who's like, look at my biohacking morning routine. It's like, no, like, just deal with what you've got. That gets the best out of me.
It can't be the be all and end all, can it?
No, but I think affirmations and journaling have definitely helped me just endure the texture of my own mind and becoming better to deal with my own thoughts. Because there's a lot of, like, I used to think you think your own thoughts, but you don't. Like, I had Chris Williamson and George Mack speak on a podcast, and George Mack was saying he realised he didn't control his own thoughts when he cleared his mind out and it went blank. And he was like, asked himself the question, what's the next thought that's going to come into my mind? And it was Arya and Robin cutting in off the right wing and smashing it top bins. And he was like, where's that even come from? So you give weight to your thoughts when you don't even actually believe half of them. So it's,
That talks for the outside influences, isn't it? And who you surround yourself with.
Yeah. I mean, they always say, like, you're the average of the 5 person you spend the most time. And I kind of flip that and think as well, you're the average of the 5 content creators you consume the most. Like, if you're going on and watching.
Yeah, it's the same for everything. Socials, who you follow. Everything.
Yeah. Who are people you kind of look up to in terms of,
to be honest,
content?
More recently, I've tried to make it people closer to home. That's been a big part of it for me. Coming from an agency background, I would always, like, historically say the stereotypical ones like Gary Vee and Stephen Bartlett and stuff, because they'd essentially walk the path that I wanted to walk. But in reality, it's a lot of the people that I've met on this podcast, through this podcast. It's a lot of the people that I've networked with and built relationships with while growing base brands, because it's just so happened that I've been on a journey at the same time, and all these people, for one reason or another, I don't really know why, have wanted to help me indirectly, directly, by ringing me, by asking, do I need help with something, by just sharing some wisdom. So as it stands
why
right
do you reckon
now,
that is?
I feel like I never, honestly, going back 5 months ago maybe, all this stuff was wishy-washy to me. Never meditated, didn't know what breathwork was, thought affirmations were a load of shite. And now it's a completely different mindset. But I realised at the time that I probably just wasn't opening my mind to being better. And I was just, I wasn't happy being who I was, but I just dealt with it. I didn't really step outside my comfort zone, stayed in my comfort zone, was too comfortable. So I feel like because of the journey that I've been on then to figure out, who I am, how I create a better life for myself, how I create a better home for my mind, how I create a better just starting point for everything, whether it comes to adversity or whatever it may be, people feel that, and they feel the energy, and they feel the want to be better. And when whether it's just another person that you meet or you're in a room with a group of people, when you're of the same mindset of wanting to be better as a person in business, whatever it may be, you stand out like a sore thumb. You gravitate towards them, and you end up talking about things that you've never spoke to anybody about before. That I believe that's what makes people want to help people. It's just emotional connection. So that's what I've tried to soak up, as much emotional connection, and just be okay with whatever happens today is okay. It's supposed to happen. And that's put me in a much better, calmer mindset. That's what's inspired me lately. It might change. I hope there's always going to be a piece of it there, because I feel like I'm a better person for it. But there'll become a season maybe towards the end of the year or start of next year where business will overconsume me, and personal routine might drop a little bit, but I'm okay with that, because I know there'll be a purpose for it.
Yeah, I think connection's so special. I mean, I'll mention something. I went to a podcast event the other day, just networking with podcast owners and stuff. And this fella walked in. I didn't know who he was. I'm not going to lie and say that I did, but I didn't know who he was. He came in, sat down. There was something about him. I don't know the way he held himself. I just went up and introduced myself to him, and we got talking. And he was like, "Oh, wait there, I've got a present for you." And I was like, "Okay." Comes back 5 minutes later with a book. He was like, "I'll sign it for you now." I was like, that's mad. Why is he signing a book for me and stuff like that? And because I'd never heard of him, and we just got speaking, hit it off, and he opened up a bit about his kind of background, and I shared a bit about mine as well. And then we just, when you just gel with someone, and his name's Richard Grannon, and he's got like a good few books. He speaks about narcissism, and yeah, I've just read Cult of One, really good book. It massively resonated with me about like the PTSD and kind of like how the alcoholic's like the ultimate narcissist. And yeah, just it's learning, becoming better. And yeah, just that one conversation. And now like we'll speak, and he'll send me over. I sent him over how much I really appreciated his book. And yeah, it's crazy.
It's energy, honestly. I base pretty much everything in my day now around just energy. It might be around conversations that I have with people. If I do or do not want to have a conversation with someone, you start protecting yourself a lot more, doing what makes you feel better, not what other people want, which was always a big thing for me. Doing things for other people, external validation was a huge thing, identity was a huge thing. So yeah, it sounds like we've been on probably a parallel journey at some point. Mad how it leads you to different places, but that's you as a person, then, isn't it? Having your own spin on things.
Can I ask you something? Like, quick. My biggest fear. What's your biggest fear?
Funny enough, pretty similar to yours. My biggest fear is, there's two biggest fears that I have, actually. I'm not sure which one's bigger. One of them is the fear of being average, because I know I'm not average. I know I can do bigger and better things. And what comes with that, the fear that comes with that is I know that throughout my life, through business and other things and decisions that I've made, I have missed out on things. I've missed out on some relationships. I've missed out on the closeness of some relationships and neglected some things and some people. So the fear for me is driven by that not being worth it, and not in the end not doing something that isn't had enough impact on other people that it doesn't make it worth it. And it was all fucking shit show. So that's one thing. And the second thing is a fear of being alone, being lonely, not good on my own. Something else I've been working on. Hate the idea of being lonely.
Where do you reckon that comes from?
I don't know. Over the years, I put a lot of my identity into business and individual people, which at the time I didn't realize until either, obviously my business is still here, but if the people aren't there anymore, then you realize how lost and confused you become, because that person that you put so much of your identity in isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And you all of a sudden feel very lonely, and it's a lonely place to be. So that's where it comes from for me.
That's a lovely take, to be fair. I'm glad I asked. I think it's weird hearing the other side of it, because I'm fine with being alone. I like to think, I love deep relationships with people, but I've come to terms with that in the season I'm in now. It's hard to bring other people in. It's hard to let other people in, because I don't want to bring other people into my life. Someone's probably going to be second best to what I'm doing, and I've still got so much work to do on myself. It's tricky. I go back and forth between like wanting to build a partnership with someone and having that, and maybe starting a family and stuff in the future. But it's tricky. I feel like I've got so much work to do on myself till I'm there. I don't know how you feel about that. But.
Yeah, I think you just. I feel a lot about that stuff lately. I think if you can get to a point where you're okay with the way things are right now, and knowing that at some point in the future, what's happening right now is just a piece of the puzzle. And you know that it's playing a part one way or another, whether it's allowing the space of being alone is allowing you to heal something, get over some trauma, figure out who you are, figure out what you want. One way or another, it has to be a good thing. Because if you're alone and you with your own thoughts, that's the hardest place to be. And that's the hardest work to put in. So then when you come to being with people, you can be a better version of yourself, because you don't need to be with that person. That person doesn't need to be there. You can be on your own. You don't need them. I'm not there yet. But I believe that will be quite a powerful place to be, when you really don't need anybody.
Yeah.
So everybody that you have around you are handpicked, because there's a mutual respect there. They have as much impact on you as you have on them.
Yeah.
That's quite a powerful place to be. That's my goal. That's where I want to be.
It's mutually beneficial, isn't it? And I think it goes back to that narrative of this will be the story you will one day tell. This will be it. Like, when that happens and you meet the right partner, then you have to go through everything to get there anyway, don't you? And I think I'm fortunate, because I don't believe I need anyone in my life. I'm very much like, if I want to do something, I'll do it. It's nice to have people, obviously, and your family and your friends and stuff. But I'm happy with being alone. I think every entrepreneur at some point does go through a lonely chapter. You know, when you start doing things and all your mates are like, why are you posting on LinkedIn, for example? And then they're like, oh, why are your LinkedIn sick now? And it's,
afterwards,
it's that full circle. So no one people did give me shit, to be fair, but it doesn't really matter. No. But I just think in general, like when you're 19 and your friends are doing what you're doing and you want to start doing something and build a different path, it is you ostracized a bit, or people will say, look at him, he thinks he's like too good for himself or whatever. So
but I think that's just where you've just got to believe in yourself.
That's the self-belief 100%. And
I think that's all we've got time for. I want you to just give us a quick run through of where people can find more of this stuff, because a lot of stuff we talked about, you talk a lot about yourself on LinkedIn's one of them, obviously. But I've got a feeling that there's going to be people are going to hear a lot more about you, especially in the next coming months, and particularly the next 12 months, whether it be through TheBlockP, new things that you're doing, other speaking opportunities and podcasts and things. So where can people find more of Sam?
More of me, probably on my LinkedIn. I might try and do some more of a personal brand stuff, but for now, just LinkedIn, Sam Byrne on LinkedIn. And keep up to date with TheBlockP. Follow TheBlockP on Instagram. More madness will be coming on there. So, perfect.
Oh, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I have. Thanks for having me on. Great.